Order, Senator Conroy. Senator Whish-Wilson.
Thank you, President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Small Business, Senator Cormann. Minister, the recently completed Harper Review into competition policy found that Australian laws are deficient and do not adequately distinguish between fair competition and unfair competition within the marketplace. The Harper Review recommended that the government amend Section 46 of the Competition and Consumer Act 2010 to introduce an effects test in relation to the misuse of market power that would better empower the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission to prevent anti-competitive behaviour, especially against such allegations made against the supermarket duopoly. Can the Minister update the Senate on when his Cabinet will bring this legislation to Parliament so we can pass this into law?
The Minister for Finance, representing the Minister for Small Business, Senator Cormann.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The government, of course, is committed to implementing our long-term plan for stronger growth and more jobs. And as part of that plan, we are pursuing one of the most ambitious reform agendas to our competition laws for a very long time. We have initiated the Harper Review, which did a very good job, which will deliver benefits for the economy, for business and for consumers across Australia. Now, this is a very important piece of work. This is a piece of work that we are very carefully considering to ensure that we make all of the right decisions in the national interest. And obviously, you wouldn't expect me here today to give you the exact timetable of something that hasn't been finalised. When the government is in a position to make announcements about our way forward in response to the recommendations of the Harper Review, we will do so.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Whish-Wilson, supplementary question.
Minister, I note recent media comments by the Minister for Small Business, Bruce Bilson, that there is a strong case for change and that he is drawing up plans for an effects test because it is, quote, in the national interest and because anti-competitive conduct is, quote, detrimental to our economy. Does the Minister and other members of the Cabinet agree with these sentiments?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. What the government agrees with is that we should do everything we can to put Australia on a stronger economic foundation for the future, that we should do everything we can to strengthen growth, create more jobs, and as part of that we are committed to comprehensive reform of our competition laws. Now, obviously, I mean, you are asking a question about a specific aspect of that is still subject to very careful consideration by the government to ensure that we make the right decision about the best way forward. As I've indicated in my primary answer, when the government is in a position to make an announcement, we will do so.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Whish-Wilson, final supplementary question.
Minister, given that stakeholders such as the Council of Small Business, COSBOA, the Master Grocers Association, Medcash and the National Farmers Federation all support the introduction of an effects test, and given that the Greens support the introduction of an effective effects test, can the government outline any impediments? Political or otherwise, to the introduction of an effects test?
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Let me just say right up front, this government is the best friend that small business has ever had. This government is the best friend that small business has ever had. Let me also say that this is the government which delivered small business tax cuts, which the previous government kept talking about, which the previous government kept promising, which of course were never delivered. This government is working to strengthen growth. This government is working to ensure that significant mining and infrastructure projects can proceed, because we understand the beneficial flow and impacts for small business from a more strongly growing economy. So, I mean, small business across Australia understand that the worst friend of small business—
Order on my right. Point of order, Senator Whish-Wilson.
In relation to relevance, I did specifically ask, and I know you listened to the questions carefully, what the impediments were, political or otherwise, to the implementation of an effects test.
Thank you, Senator Whish-Wilson. I will remind the Minister of the question. He has 17 seconds in which to answer. Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I think if you look closely at the question, you'll see that the good senator was asserting some level of support by the Greens for small business. And small business across Australia knows that the Greens are the worst enemy of small business, because the Greens are anti-growth,
anti-jobs.
Thank you,
Minister. The time for answering the question has expired.